Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hopefully everybody's having a great day or night wherever you are. Welcome, everybody. Aether, welcome back. Root, how's it going? Good to see you tonight. Mohammed, welcome back as well. Ron M. Catherine Sai, welcome. Mr. Slime. Haneen, how's it going? I'm glad you made it. So it seems like I put up a poll a couple of days ago on the channel in the community section, and it seems like almost everybody's excited for Yanfei, even more so than Eula, which is pretty interesting to me. But because of that, I wanted to go ahead and make sure that Yanfei got her, kind of her due as far as covering her with the stream content. So I wanted to take a little bit of time and discuss her combatively, as well as what we know about her from the lore. So I'm going to go ahead and start by, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to play her official trailer that they put up on the official YouTube just a couple of days ago. So we're going to start with that, and then we'll get into everything. Okay, so it seems like the audio on that did not go out. I don't know why. I'm going to try that again. I don't know. I've had a little issue with that in the past, but it plays just fine on my side, which is super awkward. So hang on. Let me try this a second time. That's the wrong video that it's trying to play on here, which is, oh God, this is just going to add unnecessary time. Hang on, guys. I don't know why that didn't play. Like, it's showing as if it should. But let me try this one more time. I think I might see what's going on here. Is it any better now? Any audio on this? It seems like this isn't working, and I'm not seeing anything. So you know what? Since that's not going to work, I don't know why tonight. It doesn't matter. They released a trailer. You should watch it after this. It's great. They did a good job with it. They, they release a lot of the general personality of the character really shines through on it. She's a very confident legal advisor for Leah, which is an interesting role for them to have gone ahead and created for a character in the game. So let me go ahead and get into what is coming up next with this. So we're going to go ahead and get right into the lore aspects of the character. So they released little bits of the lore already, which they've done through Twitter and through their official website. Probably a lot of people haven't seen that yet. But it says that her basic description is Yan Fei is a well-known legal advisor active in Liyue Harbor, a brilliant young lady in whose veins runs the blood of an illuminated beast. Liyue is a port that prizes contracts in trade, and it is a place where wealth accumulates. Merchants from various nations are active here, which has contributed to Liyue's abundance, but has also brought up many disagreements. The Tianquan, Ningguang, has written a very comprehensive compendium of laws to deal with this, but not everyone has the patience to study them. Thus was born the role of the legal advisor in the Liyue society. Highly familiar with Liyue's laws, they help those in need to navigate any contradictions, earning recompense for their efforts. Yanfei is a premier legal advisor in Liyue Harbor. She is always able to obtain the most benefits for her clients, insofar as the law will allow. Some even call her the law that walks, an interesting title for her. But in truth, Yan Fei, one of the few half-illuminated beasts to have yet to sign a contract with Rex Lapis, really wants to do is live a free and happy life. As for the copy of the general law of Liyue that she carries around on her person, Yan Fei has this to say. I can't see what that was. Hang on. Somebody, Oh, thanks for subscribing, Shireen. Welcome. Anyway, so, yeah, it says, if you don't wish to be bound by the rules, you have to be first to understand them all, which is a really an interesting and very, like, lawyery way to place something. You know, if you want to try and step around the law, yeah, you do need to understand all of the laws and how they interact together. So, yeah, she's definitely got a good view of Liyue's laws overall. It expresses a relationship between her and Ningguang, which is a really interesting take on it as well. There's a few of her voiceovers apparently already released, and I'm guessing these will be future voice lines for her. Her self-description, my name is Yan Fei, a top legal expert in Liyue, for the avoidance of no doubt. So this is basically, I believe that this is actually what she says in the trailer. So I'll save that for you guys to, yeah, this is pretty much almost word for word what she says in the trailer. So I'll let you guys listen to that one over there. About us rates. If you want legal advice from me, sure. For legal options, I charge a flat rate of 6,000 mora. For advisory service, my hourly rate is 180,000 mora. For commercial law, I charge 710,000 mora per case. Final quote and commission rate depending on the details of your case. Not a bad deal, right? So she's kind of got a little bit of the hootao, you know, work a deal with you thing kind of here. But she's also got a, I think, you know, because she's a lawyer, she's got very specific rates that she's going to go by. So MiHoYo, as always, hasn't spared any expense on developing each of the little nuances of the character's personality, right down to what she charges for specific cases. You think I come across as quite imposing when I'm reading through case files? Well, that is only when I'm in work mode. It's like I have an invisible switch. Flick it one way and I'm in normal mode, flick it the other way and I switch to work mode. Surely you must have a switch like that too. God, I you know, these days I feel like I just have work mode. There's only one. And okay, so looks like there's a thoughts about Yanfei by Ningguang. It says, I suppose you could say she's a dear rival of mine. Were she not so deft at explaining the meanders of the law and providing her clients with all sorts of cunning suggestions, it would take me many more months to identify existing loopholes in the legal codices and tighten them one by one. So basically what it's saying is, even though they're kind of, I guess, legal rivals, I think what it's trying to say is that she hires Yanfei to kind of pour through all the laws of Liyue to help the Qixing be maximally profitable and you know, go through all the loopholes in the law to make sure that they can do what they need to do to be, you know, on top, which is kind of probably how Ningguang put together her whole Jade Chamber the first time. And we know that she's working on rebuilding that now. So we'll kind of see how that works out. Yanfei's hobbies are reading and appraisal. Reading begets knowledge. Appraisal improves judgment. As such, she reads everything and appraises anything. If you can find that hard to believe, bring something to her anytime. If there's market for it, her estimate won't be far off. So basically, she has a really good, she's really good at determining what things are worth, and people use her as an appraisal, not just as a legal advisor. Favorite food, tofu is her one true love. Light in flavor, tender in texture, not to mention smooth and nourishing. It goes well with a manner of soups and dishes, and more importantly, it's available throughout the seasons. So yeah, as with all the characters, they've established what her favorite food is. Interesting that she likes tofu. I think there's other characters in the game that like really, really hate it. Sometimes the law is compatible with human nature, but sometimes the two are in conflict. Balancing the two is a discipline in its own right. So that's another interesting little take from her. She's got some really great, like very like legally quotes and stuff. So getting into the combat aspects of the character here, it says here, well, actually, before we do that, it says her constellation is Bestia Justitia, I think is how you would say that in Latin. I'm probably wrong. Panda can correct me if I was right or not in the chat. Please let me know, because I think he's here. But what I talked to Panda today. He is my Latin translator. He really helps me out a lot with any Latin text. You guys have probably seen his name in the credits of my videos. He tells me basically this means beastly justice, which is hilarious. It's kind of like, it sounds ridiculous, right? But it also kind of ties back into the fact that she's a half illuminated beast. So basically she's half Adeptus. So beastly justice. So that's great. So now whenever you see her constellation, think beastly justice, and that'll be amazing. Anyways, it says that her, it says at the bottom of this, Yanfei is sustained damage dealer. She can strengthen her charged attacks with Scarlet Seals to deal pyro damage to enemies, as well as dealing damage with her elemental skill and her burst to help her stack Scarlet Seals more quickly. So basically, what it kind of sounds like is the character will function in a way similar to that of Ningguang. And so one of the things that I've been kind of pouring through with the character is looking into how all of her skills work. Her normal attack, it says here, shoots fireballs that deal up to 3 counts of pyro damage. Hitting an enemy with her normal attack grants Yanfei a single Scarlet Seal. The initial maximum damage of Scarlet Seals she can possess at one time is 3. Gaining a new Scarlet Seal resets the duration of existing seals. Each Scarlet Seal decreases Yanfei's stamina consumption and will disappear when she leaves the field. So basically, she stacks these things up, and whenever they're stacked up, she deals more damage. I believe when she uses her charged attack, which is that was her normal attack first that I had there. This is Seal of Approval charged attack. Consumes stamina, like everybody's charged attacks. After a short casting time, consumes all Scarlet Seals to deal AoE pyro damage in an area in front of her. The AoE and damage of charged attack increases based on the number of Scarlet Seals that it consumes. So the more you have, you could kind of also think of like how Lisa's E works, because you throw those out, and it will increase the damage of her charge. But it seems like all of Yanfei's abilities will help gain these stacks, I believe. So she'll kind of work like Ningguang. You'll build up these seals and release it for bigger damage. It says that she's a sustained damage producer. However, by the nature of using her charged attack to pop the seals for greater damage, it gives her also a burst opportunity. So I wouldn't underestimate her ability as a possible burst producer. I think that she's actually going to be a really potent damage dealer overall. And since it says that she's consistent, not necessarily burst, to me, that implies that she is intended to be a primary DPS. This will be one of those characters where you would use as either a primary, to me, as her role, primary or secondary DPS, and you'll use her as the character that you have on screen in most instances. So those of you who wanted Klee and have not yet had the opportunity to get her, this character seems like she could be a great budget version of Klee, at least in terms of her being a pyro catalyst user. Let's go ahead and go into her main elemental skill. It's called Signed Edict. Summons blistering flames that deal AoE pyro damage. If this attack hits an enemy, Yanfei is granted a maximum number of Scarlet Seals. So instead of having to build them up slowly through normal attacks, you'll just get max ones. So it seems like you'll want to throw out her E, go straight into a charge afterwards. That's how you're going to maximize the damage from her elemental skill. Remember, E, straight into a charge. That's going to give you your best opportunity. Let's go into her last skill, which is Done Deal. That's her elemental burst. Triggers a spray of intense flames that rush at nearby opponents, dealing AoE pyro damage. Granting Yanfei the maximum number of Scarlet Seals again, and applying Brilliance to her. So, It says Brilliance periodically grants Yanfei a Scarlet Seal, increases the damage of her charged attacks. The Brilliance effect stops when Yanfei leaves the field or dies. So this Brilliance effect says it periodically grants her a Scarlet Seal. But it also says it increases the damage of her charged attacks. It's not clear if one causes the other. So we know that the Scarlet Seal's point is to increase the damage of charged attacks, but we don't know if the Brilliance effect actually independently also stacks like an additional buff on top. We will have to figure out how that works once the character is actually released and we're able to get hands on her and kind of see how that plays out. But so again, it seems like regardless of that, if you use her elemental burst or her elemental skill, the next thing you need to do is release the charges. Go straight into a charged attack right afterwards. In the ideal fashion, you would be able to go to do something like use her elemental burst. It'll give you a buff. It'll max out your seals, pop a charge, then go to your elemental skill and pop a charge again right after that. This is going to be like the best way to follow your rotations through on this character. Make sure you're moving so you're not getting hit in the face by everything, obviously. But that's going to be, to me, the best way to maximize her output, at least from the description of the skills. So we'll see later this week kind of how all that ends up really playing out. And we'll get into that in the near future, I suppose. Which brings me to the next point, which is, again, her role, like I said, is more likely going to be primary or secondary DPS. So she'll be the character that's carrying you. You'll probably want to build her around other characters that can help bring the most out of her. So if you want to pair her up with, you know, some kind of cryo character, even I think Rosalia might be a good choice. If you've recently gotten and build Rosalia, you'll have a good opportunity to utilize melt, after applying cryo status onto enemies from Rosalia. You'll get that good 2x damage for the melt. If you have other pyro characters, you're probably going to want to go ahead and get yourself a pyro resonance, increase her damage that much more. Any good primary DPS weapon's going to work. So your solar pearls, your royal grimoire, the other one with crit damage, I can't remember its name off the top of my head right now. I have it, but I haven't built it. Any of the 5-star catalysts also are going to work really well with her. These are going to be the weapons, I would say, of choice. And then you're probably going to want to look into the primary pyro sets as well for her, especially since it looks like you're going to be leaning on her E. But I'll get more into specific build options later this week, or rather, I should say next week, because the character releases on Tuesday night, which brings me to my final point, which is I'm going to be doing another stream on Tuesday where I go ahead and get into all of her. I'm going to go ahead and roll for her. I'll get her on the stream, and then I'll discuss what my options are for building her. I'm not actually going to build her on the stream this week because I'm going to keep it to short, so I'm going to quickly roll for her, explore the constellations, go through all that quick information, and discuss what the best way I think to build her is. And then later in the week, I'll actually get into what I actually have done and how she's performing. And yeah, so that'll be sometime middle of the next week is what my plan is for that. Anyways, that pretty much covers everything as far as what I have to discuss with Yanfei. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And I'm going to go ahead and get out of here for tonight, but I'll hopefully see you all on Tuesday. And if all goes well, my newest theory should be releasing either tomorrow morning or Monday morning. Wish me luck. I'm pressing for tomorrow morning, but I got a little bit more to do. Anyways, thanks for being here tonight, guys. Have a great night.